By the way, before I forget, I watched a great new movie last night about WikiLeaks with Benedict Cumberbatch, a great actor. And he looks
like that.
It's Cumberbatch.
What is it?
Cumberbatch.
That movie also came out almost 6 years ago.
6 years ago?
It's a hot new movie, though.
Oh, I thought it was brand new.
Was 6 years ago?
Oh, God, it was good. It wasn't as good as Snowden, but Bertrand Cumberbatch was outstanding, and you should absolutely watch that. Okay, so I got to go back to it. I'm going to drive Sam crazy. Sam's our director, and he doesn't like when I do this. Can we go back quickly to a story? Please, America, side with me on this. Carmelo Anthony and LeBron go to a five-star restaurant in New York wearing sweats. Broussard, joy is like I wear hoodies all day. Didn't that...
It rubbed me the wrong way.
Thank you.
I'm completely with... And I wear sweats all the time when I'm not on the air, but not to a restaurant, not to a nice restaurant. Like you said, if it's Burger King, if it's Starbucks or something like that, but... A nice restaurant like that?
When you take your wife, you got to dress up to respect your wife. I wear a top hat and a tux.
It's fashion.
That is not fashion.
Yes, it is.
That didn't look like fashion.
That looked like a fashion faux pas. That didn't work. That didn't work at all for me.
I don't know.
You got to respect your lady friend more than that.
What did LeBron have on?
Same thing. They both a little off.
Bad.
What do you mean they're off? Look at everyone with them.
Those guys are just there.
Is off.
It's ugly.
That I guarantee that is a very, very expensive outfit.
It might be expensive. That's what gets NBA players in trouble. They think because something is expensive or designer that is fly. All this stuff James Harden and Russell Westbrook are wearing, I know it's on the runway, but it's not meant to be worn in regular life.
They're tastemakers. It is meant for them to wear in regular life.
That stuff look. That stuff is crazy. If
I wore a tic-tac-toe suit to work today, would you laugh at me or acknowledge my greatness?
I mean, I would assume that you're going through something because that's not what you normally wear. But if that's what you want to change it up to, I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Okay, I don't have. Listen, the only other NBA topic. I mean, listen, the Lakers lost last night. I don't care. I think the Anthony Davis story is overwhelmingly the biggest story in the league. There is a story though that's going on. Chris Paul yesterday said James Harden's the best offensive player he's ever seen. I absolutely believe the NBA allows James Harden to travel. They allowed Magic to palm the ball. They allowed Michael Jordan to travel. If you become iconic and great, the NBA changes the rules for you.
But they haven't done that for LeBron.
Well, he doesn't have a go-to move. But Michael had like 3 set moves. He traveled on all of them. Magic palmed the ball. James Harden's traveling. If you become a great player, like let's say Kareem traveled on the skyhook, and he did a little dance step, they'd let it go. The league's about stars, shots, moments. LeBron doesn't have a stock move.
Well, imagine how many turnovers Harden would have if they called travel. Because he owns the league record for most turnovers in a season. He's challenging that record again this year. He's got 2 of the 4 highest turnover seasons in NBA history.
Now, he has a lot of usage.
Almost 6 a game. A lot of usage, but that's why Chris Paul is out of his mind. Number 1, the turnovers. Number 2, Harden's not that efficient. He's a 44% shooter. Now, I know his true shooting percentage, but that's because of the threes. That jacks up your true shooting percentage. You can't compare that to Michael Jordan because they didn't shoot threes as much back then. The third thing that Chris Paul's overlooking is the Mike D'Antoni factor.
Thank you.
Mike D'Antoni is PEDs for certain types of players. I mean, yes. Like if you are a good ball handler, see the entire floor, and you're downhill, you're going to be greater than anybody ever suspected in Mike D'Antoni's system.
Steve Nash was the NBA's arguably best player for a 3-year stretch.
Absolutely. And I contend this, Colin, and I voted for Steve Nash at least once on the MVP. I don't know if I voted both times. I think I did both times he won it. I contend that Steve Nash would not only never have won the MVP award, but he would not be a future Hall of Famer had he not hooked up with Mike D'Antoni. He was on the decline in his last season in Dallas. That's why Mark Cuban let him go to Phoenix and didn't try to re-sign him. So Nash becomes this superhero in D'Antoni's system. Chris Duhon, Ray Felton, Jeremy Lin, they all played above their heads for D'Antoni, and that's what you see with James Harden. I'm not saying he's not great, but you got to put Michael Jordan ahead of him. I would put Steph Curry ahead of him too. Because if you put Steph
Oh, God, yes.
in D'Antoni's system, he might average 37 and 13.
Yeah, Steph Curry's an all-time better player than Harden.
Certainly a better offense. Well, neither one
First of all, he's a better pure shooter, and he's a better ball handler.
And I would argue a better passer, even though his assist total. Harden can pass too, but Steph's an underrated passer.
By the way, I'm not really into awards. The MVP race this year, I think, is really interesting. I still think Phillip Rivers, if he beats Baltimore's defense and has a great couple weeks, he'll finish second. I have Andrew Luck winning it. I have Phillip Rivers
He's
second.
not even a Pro Bowler.
It's embarrassing. That's why
I agree with you. He should be a Pro Bowler.
That's why I don't watch the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
I think we've given it to Mahomes, and my takeaway is if he loses this week in Seattle, he's 0 for 4 in his biggest games. I'm not blaming him, but you got to win one of them.
But hold on, it's amazing how we say his biggest games. He beat the Chargers in LA, which I know
when
the game won, but still, he beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. He just beat Baltimore, which is playing great football.
What month are those games in?
It's funny that they all count the same. I get it. December football is a little more important.
A little,
but the only reason we say these are his most important games is because they lost. We're not counting the first Pittsburgh game, but we're counting the second one. You know,
games matter more in December because if you can react as a team and as a general manager and as a player to a September performance. You get to January, it's final. If you lose, you lose. You don't have time to make up for a bad performance.
But he put up 51 points in one of the losses. I know he had the 5
turnovers.
Let me
guess. It was sunny outside.
Hold on. He has had 2 6-touchdown games this year. You know how many 6-touchdown games Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger have in their careers? 2.
Oh, timeout.
2.
Okay.
He's got 2 in one season. His first season as a starter. This dude's the MVP. Why don't you like Patrick Mahomes?
It's not that I don't like him. Why is it I always get tagged a hater when I offer reasonable criticism?
This guy has, 14 or 11 more touchdowns than anybody else in the league.
Yeah.
He's
7 turnovers against the Patriots and Rams combined. Did you forget about that? You're talking numbers. I got those numbers.
Magic Johnson turned it over a lot.
Oh, now you're changing sports on me.
You turn it over sometimes. I mean, he's only got 11 INTs.
I'm not set. Listen.
Andrew Luck has 13.
Oh, yeah. Andrew Luck doesn't have Cheetah, Sammy for most of the year.
Hold on. Sammy Watkins is hurt. Kareem Hunt is out, as he should be. Spencer Ware is out now. He's lost some top players too.
So you look at this right here when I put it on TV, Luck, Rivers, Mahomes. You have a problem. What order would you put him in?
Mahomes, Rivers, Luck.
You put Luck third?
Yeah, I would have Breeze third. Yeah, no question.
The lineup is right.
I'm with you on Luck should have made the Pro Bowl ahead of Brady.
Well, that's just like saying milk goes good with cereal. I mean, that's not some big proclamation. Of course he should have made the Pro Bowl.
Well, ahead of Brady, though.
Of course.
All right. A lot of people don't. And Rodgers shouldn't have made it. Russell Wilson should have made it ahead of Rodgers, I think.
Yes, that's embarrassing for the league.
It is.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
Russell beat him head to head.
No question.
Do you know Russell has more wins against the NFC North this year than Aaron does? He's 3-1. Aaron's 1-3-1. Even in his division, it's not all Aaron's fault. Good stuff, Chris Broussard. Good having you on.
Did I convince you about Mahomes?
No, not at all. I think you're crazy. Coming up, I'm going to tell you exactly how the NFL